everyone so much for joining me today. My name is Bria Giffen. I'm the director for the TELUS Health Wellbeing product, specifically acting as a sales specialist. I'll be taking you through the product today and telling you all about it. And I will just apologize in advance. I have a little bit of a cough today, so if I do have to cough, I'll just put myself on mute for a second. And then just a reminder of what it is we're going to be covering today. So obviously we're going to tell you all about the application and the benefits of the application as well, but we'll really be talking today about the importance of proactive and preventative employee care, why personalized experiences, specifically around well-being, really help to better engage employees and drive lasting behavior change. And then we'll also be talking about how the well-being product can help you build really great, engaging, lasting corporate culture, especially in this era of remote work and kind of a different type of approach needed for corporate culture. So we'll dive in. So just to kind of set us off here, let's talk a little bit about the current state of health in Canada. I'm sure it won't be a surprise to anyone on the phone here, on the webinar here, but the current state of health in Canada could be better. We're seeing some things that are a bit concerning in regards to stats on people's engagement at work, on drug utilization, on time that they have to take away from work. So a couple of things that I just wanted to flag here. It's very public knowledge that employees are reporting that there is a gap, that they feel there is a gap between well-being benefits, what they want from employers and what they're currently getting from employers. So 83% of employees surveyed said that there is a bit of a gap, especially in the health and well-being area, from what they would want or expect from employers and what they're currently receiving from employers. We are, of course, at the same time, this was a trend before the pandemic, but has certainly accelerated since the pandemic. We are seeing that employees are really needing, more support around mental health in particular. They are claiming more for drugs used to treat things like depression or anxiety. There's been a 22% increase for adults, and an increase as well for dependents in 2020 at least. And then the trend for people having to take time off work, whether they are taking time off work for a cold or COVID, or for something a little bit more serious, that has significantly increased as well. About 10% of the workforce being out of work January of this year, and we are starting to see those types of trends again. And then with all of that said, there are a couple other things that are really worth noting here. So first of all, 16% of Canadians are getting the appropriate level of physical activity as recommended by doctors per week. So that's a lot of people who are not getting the recommended amount of physical activity each week. And what that means is that eventually, if this trend continues, that type of lifestyle behavior is going to tie into a higher prevalence of chronic lifestyle type diseases, right? Your diabetes, your cardiovascular disease, things that could be prevented with different lifestyle practices. So physical activity is a big one. We know that is really tied to a lot of the more costly diseases when it comes to the pharmaceuticals that people would be claiming and time off work that they would be taking. So not a lot of people getting the amount of physical activity that they need. We're also kind of in this era of quiet quitting and the Great Resignation. So we actually see 77% of employees say that they would actually switch jobs or consider at least switching jobs for the same position at a different employer who is offering better health and well-being support. And then this is something that has a humongous economic impact for our country. There's $122 billion in lost productivity annually, according to the Public Health Agency of Canada, that can be attributed to things like absenteeism and presenteeism, which again, a large amount of that can be mitigated by making employees happier and healthier at work. And then the last stat that I think is only going to get bigger is that 76% of Canadians today under the age of 35 currently use technology to manage their health. And if you think about that, that's things like employees or people who would have a Fitbit or who would want to access their medical doctor through virtual care. The younger generations are really used to having this kind of point of care, this fast, easy, on my phone way of accessing services, and that does include healthcare as well. So as that demographic becomes a bigger and bigger part of the workforce, they are going to continue to look for those easy, digital, right in my hand, quick solutions to access health and well-being and other benefits that you provide. Okay, so now that we've set the stage, let's actually get into the product. So what is the Wellbeing product? TELUS Health Wellbeing is a digital health platform that's able to be accessed through either the mobile app, as you see on the screen here, or via a web platform, so an internet browser like Chrome or Firefox or something like that. The solution, though, is really designed to help employees embrace well-being and to improve their overall health. And we do that in a couple of different ways. So through the technology, employees can access really all the tools that they need to understand where they're starting from and to take steps forward in improving their health and well-being. Of important note, the whole system is powered by machine learning. So I know that that's a bit of a hot button word, but what that means for our solution is that we're able to provide very personalized and timely interventions to each individual user that really resonates with where they are in their particular health and well-being journey. So for example, an employee logs in, they are participating in the program, maybe they take their health risk assessment, and then they're starting to get content that says, hey, Bria, we notice you've been going to the gym a bit more. Here's a great workout you could try. Or we see you've started trying to meditate. Here's some guided meditations you might be interested in. So these kinds of things allow us to really get in touch with that user, to get them the right thing at the right time. And this helps us engage them better for longer. The system also provides real-time insights and analytics, both to users, but also to the employer. And of course, everything is aggregated and anonymized, but the real-time insights and analytics allows us to provide better, more timely insights for your organization as well. So instead of just kind of waiting for your annual or quarterly reports, we can see at the moment the trends that are happening in your organization, what support employees might need, and we can kind of get ahead of that before it becomes problematic. And then the last thing that's really important to mention about the well-being solution is that you are not in this alone. We hold your hand the entire way. Part of the solution is access to the client experience team. The client experience team are well-being experts, and they help your organization build healthy, productive, and engaged workforces with content, communications, a calendar of programming, really everything that we need to deliver ongoing, fresh, exciting, engaging programming through the digital solution. The other thing that's very important to mention as well is that this is an integrated member experience. So we are part of the TELUS ecosystem. We are integrated with TELUS Health Virtual Care. So for those of you who are using TELUS Health Virtual Care, you can actually log into the Virtual Care app, and you'll be able to, if you subscribe to Wellbeing as well, you'll be able to see a bit of a widget, a Wellbeing widget on that Virtual Care app, which will pull you into the Wellbeing solution. So it's seamless, easy, frictionless, and it's a single TELUS Health Virtual Care user credential login. So it's very easy to access both solutions with just one click. So you might be thinking to yourself, I want to learn a bit more about the features and how this actually works. So before I get into that, I really want to touch on the fact that this was not just something that was, launched to market, yesterday. The whole entire well-being platform is really based on decades of experience, decades of research, and every piece of the product has been thoughtfully designed using the COMBI model of behavioral change. And the COMBI model stands for capability, opportunity, motivation in order to change behavior. And we've kind of rebranded that to say we educate, engage, and inspire users to help make those behavioral changes. So all of the features are designed to work together in order to keep educating, engaging, and inspiring users to try something new, to understand their numbers, to know what they're working towards and why, so that we can engage them and really give them everything that they need to help adopt new healthy habits. So we'll talk a little bit about the features. One thing that I like to say about the application is that there's something there for everyone. As you've heard me say, this is thoughtfully designed so that each feature works together really in unison with another. So for example, when people register for the first time, they're prompted to complete what we call our well-being survey. So that's our health risk assessment. And what that gives the employee is the ability to understand and kind of know where they're starting from, what they might need to work towards. And then that really helps power the machine learning engine that the system is based on. So that collects the information, that gives them everything that they need to start on their journey. And then we do a lot of other things. We give them the ability to connect a device like a Fitbit or an Apple Watch. So you can see that here with our wearable integrations. If they don't have a device that they're wearing, they can track everything as a self-report, a manual activity tracker. They're tracking these activities because that helps move them up the leaderboard. It helps them compete in challenges against their colleagues. It helps them track towards their own personal goals. Their own personal goals as well are actually what we call SMART goals. And that means that they're based on the machine learning engine as well. So my personal goal will change with me, with my behavior, really every single day. So it gets to know me, what I'm doing, where I want to go, and really adjusts my goal accordingly. So I'm always kind of feeling like, I can do this. It's reachable. It's not just taking someone who only gets 2,000 steps a day and telling them they need to get 10,000 steps a day, because those people feel like they are really kind of, they're going to fail before they even begin. So we are trying to help people with these SMART goals take the baby steps that they need to reach the kind of larger goal over a longer period of time. We also have so many features that help people engage with their colleagues and really have that kind of like virtual water cooler type effect. So things like the communities feature allow me to connect with people who share the same interests as me. Social streams allow me to post and share interesting things that I'm doing to stay healthy and have my colleagues interact with that. The events calendar allows me to interact with different events that might be going on at the company level. And then the content library is something I really want to speak about as well. The content library is refreshed weekly. There's always something new in there. And it's kind of like, when you log on to Netflix and it says, here are some things that you might like. That's the same idea as the content library. We're giving people the right videos, articles, resources that really align with what they want to do or what they're already trying to accomplish. So this is always refreshed to keep engaging people in well-being, to provide videos, articles, workouts, meditations, healthy cooking videos, but again, recommended for me. So again, it feels more relevant and personalized, which helps me stay engaged in this program longer term. So again, with the feature set, there's something there for everyone, whether it's the people who are more introverted and just want to focus on themselves and their own goals, the social people who love to connect and share, or even the people who are really competitive and love to be rewarded for their behaviors. They can all come together in one app and have a great experience. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that everything about the solution is inclusive and accessible as well. So of course, It is digital, it is available 24/7 through mobile and web, but all of the features of the platform, all the content, everything is really developed with kind of our diversity and inclusion lens in mind. So we offer alternatives to participate for your employees who might be living with a disability, WCAG 2.0 level AA compliant. We also are available in multiple different languages, so employees can connect and participate in the language of their choosing. Of course, English and French both supported, but we also support many different European and Asian languages as well. All of these different pieces of the platform can be configured and customized. So end user communications, content, programs, again, we're really working to kind of configure them to make sure that both languages and cultural norms are taken into consideration. I'll also just mention quickly that we believe that privacy is a default. So all personal data is owned by the employee. They are in control of it, and they are really able to select to turn off notifications or remove themselves from various parts of the platform with their privacy settings as well. So they're in full control over that experience, what is shared, how they participate, because we want to make sure that they feel private and protected if needed. So all of the different things that I've kind of walked you through so far, the fact that the platform is easily accessible, the fact that there's features there for everyone, that we're based on a machine learning engine, so that we drive really personalized user experiences, that we get the right content to the right people at the right time, that there's an ever-changing experience for the user, and of course that the amazing client experience team is part of the deal. They are here to make sure that the program is successful, fresh, that employees have not just technical support. So I forgot my password, I don't know how to connect my Fitbit, but so that they also have the ability to engage in programs that are right for them. All of these things combined really allow us to produce very high levels of product stickiness, so engagement. If you look at our monthly engagement levels and then weekly and daily, these are staggering in regards to how we would compare to other applications in this industry. But we've compared ourselves to a couple ones that you might be familiar with, Amazon, Nike. These engagement rates mean that people come back to the application, they open it, they actively engage. This is not just a device passing data to the system. This is your employees opening the app, joining the challenge, posting to the social stream, watching videos on how to make healthy recipes for their family or how to really focus on avoiding burnout. All of these types of things really mean that the employee is coming back in and they're using this application. And these numbers are based on all of our North American users, so hundreds of thousands of them. And we track this daily, weekly, and monthly to make sure that we are consistently providing an experience that will engage employees long-term. And so because we can continue to get employees to come back to the solution, to continue to participate, because we are engaging them, we are able to help change their behavior. So the kind of stats that I'll share with you on the next few slides are, again, based on our entire North American user base, so hundreds of thousands of people. And then all of these stats are pulled from our data lake, from our data scientists. So academic level data scientists who are always analyzing our data lake. And they found some really interesting things. So one of the things we look at is what happens after a user registers 12 months after that. So kind of looking at a longer term frame, right? We want to make sure that they're still coming back and using the application. So one of the great things that we found was that from whenever a user registers, maybe it was May 2019, maybe it was November 2021, whenever they've registered, 12 months later, we are looking at their physical activity. And we're tracking this based on their wearable devices, right? So we can make sure it's more accurate than a self-report. And what we've found is that they're increasing their physical activity levels by 15% on average, based on where they were starting from a year ago. On average as well, our users are about 27% more active than people who are not using the solution. So we're getting people to join and we're helping them increase their activity because we're able to engage them in programming. And what we're doing here as well is using our health risk assessment to track disease risk reduction. So one of the things that is really different about our health risk assessment is the fact that it's what we call a real-time health risk assessment. So in addition to those normal questions that are normally asked in an assessment, we actually have the ability to incorporate live data from a wearable device. So we know that users are getting their steps in, they're going to yoga, they're sleeping, they're meditating, and that's being tracked automatically by their Fitbit or their Garmin or their Apple Watch. Our health risk assessment takes all of that into consideration, and our algorithms are able to show real-time changes in risk levels. So because we're engaging people, because we're making them, for example, more physically active, we're also able to eventually show that we're reducing their disease risk as well. And that is across both diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and really the top 5 most costly lifestyle-related diseases. And that is also across all genders. So we're always looking at this to make sure that what we're doing is actually having a valid return on investment and is giving employees and you the best outcomes possible. And I'll just again show this in kind of a slightly different way, how our users have less risk by age group as well. So we're looking, before we were kind of looking at overall and based on different genders, excuse me. Now we're looking at that risk reduction in different age groups. And I think this is really interesting because we're seeing the largest risk reduction in some of the older demographics. So, the 50 plus age group, we'll call it, where they might be at higher risk of developing some chronic lifestyle related diseases. We're actually seeing that population engage in the technology, participate in the programs, and see really amazing reduction in their risk of developing lifestyle related diseases because they're participating as well. And I am the first to say that correlation does not imply causality, but we do see a very strong correlation in our users who are more highly engaged and that reduction in their risk of developing chronic diseases as well. So again, we're tracking them over time. We're using our health risk assessment to do this. We're looking at their behaviors as tracked by wearable devices. And what we can see are the people who log in daily, the highly engaged people, the people who log in weekly, who are moderately engaged, or the people who log in a couple times a month. That correlation between how engaged a user is significantly helps us predict which people might be at a lower risk of developing chronic diseases. And of course, all of this information allows us to go back to the system, to go back to the client experience team, and to build out programs and interventions that will help us mitigate these risks. So that is the presentation. I really hope that you guys enjoyed learning a little bit about the well-being solution today. Really happy to answer any questions that you have, and we'll just go to the Q&A. Okay. So let's see here. We've got a question that asks, how long is the data included in the presentation based on, or when was the Wellbeing Tile originally launched? Okay, great question, Crystal. So TELUS acquired a company called Sprout. Sprout was around for 10 years, and so all of the data that we're discussing is really based on like 10 years of collecting and analyzing user data. Now we are TELUS Health. So while this product has technically just launched as of last month in the TELUS ecosystem, it is something that has been around for over a decade. And We've been working with users all over the world. We have over 15 million people globally that our solution is supported. And Bethany had a similar question too. So Bethany, like the data lake is consistent or consists of 10 years of data. However, those stats that you saw me showing there were very much what happens within 12 months. So that 12-month data was actually, we're looking at any user who registered from 2019 to present day 2022, but we need them to have at least 12 months of data in order for us to include them in those particular stats that I was sharing. Okay, and then I think last question, is it available in English and French? Yes, absolutely. Everything, the application, communications, content, service, support, absolutely available in both French and English. And it is priced, it's a PM, so per member per month subscription. The subscription is volume based, so the larger the total population, the smaller the per person price, and it is available to be bundled with your virtual care. So it can just easily be added on to that as well. So thank you guys so much again. This was really a pleasure to present to you.